Hey, what is up guys? My name is Ollie and today I'm going to be talking about my 1 year experience with the M1 Mac Air as my content creation device. And I've been traveling with it on the road for a full year now, and I want to show you if it's a good fit, if you should buy it right now, should you wait, and what's been my experience with it. So let me give you guys a little backstory into why I decided purchasing this machine. So I was planning on going to Bali, Indonesia, where I've been for almost the last year now. And basically how I got to actually buying this machine was I had packed everything. I put all my bags on. This was like the day before I was leaving. And I noticed it was too heavy. Yes, I know. We've all been there. If you've been traveling, you're always overpacking. It's really difficult choosing the things. And if you are constantly on the road, content creating, this has been such a blessing. A lot of the time I actually have to check if I have this in my backpack because it's so light, and I've actually had some times where I've left it behind because I can't really tell if I have it in there or not, so I'm like always checking. This has been such an amazing thing. Like sometimes I've been editing on airplanes, I've been editing in places where you're basically not supposed to edit everything, and it's been a really cool experience because I can imagine if I was using my old computer, it would have been a nightmare. And best thing of all, it's lightweight, and the battery life on this thing is absolutely ridiculous. So basically, if I'm doing a full day of editing on this machine, I normally only need to plug it in once. It depends on how intense it is, if I'm editing in 4K or if it's 1080p, it all depends. But if you find yourself that you are in a bright environment, like basically what I'm in right now, I'm editing outside and stuff, and you can see the screen is struggling a little bit with the brightness, so you do have to keep that in mind. If you are going to buy this laptop and you want to edit outside and edit on the road, then I might want to go for the Pro variant, which has 500 nits instead of 400 nits on this one. So I think that might be a better deal for you, but so far for me it's been pretty good. So I haven't felt like it was a total deal breaker, but it's definitely one of those things I think it's nice to have. So when it comes to what kind of storage options and everything you should have, that is one of the things I think I really regret when it comes to my purchase of it 1 year ago. So I have the base storage, and that is the 8GB RAM with a 256GB SSD. And in general, this is my first experience with Mac, so it's been going surprisingly well. But I think since I'm using it for video editing and heavier tasks, I wish someone would have told me that you really should buy the 16GB. So if you're planning on future-proofing it, you're planning on having it for a long amount of time, I would 100% recommend you to go with 16GB, or even considering going with more of the Pro options of the new ones that was released last year. So when it comes to extra storage, what I would recommend for you, if you are on a tight budget, I would try to save a little bit extra so you can get the extra RAM on it. I think it's going to be such a big thing. Like maybe if you're just doing basic tasks and stuff, and I have been able to edit quite a bit in even 4K with the 8GB one, but I think sometimes it's worth saving that stress to just have that available RAM on it. So I think that's very important, and that's one of the things I wish I would have done, but I didn't have it available at the time. So one of the options I use is one of these SanDisk Extreme SSDs, and you can plug them directly in. They're incredibly fast. This one is not the Pro Extreme version, which is like some ridiculous, like 2000 megabyte per second, like some crazy speed. This is the 500, but what I've found is like just the normal extreme version of it is plenty fast enough, and I can video edit from this super fast, and they're basically reaching the limits of what this M1 machine can handle as well. So you basically just plug it in straight into here like that, and we are good to go. So you can edit straight from them, no problem. if I've had any problems, no. They don't get warm or anything. They're, yeah, it's working pretty well. Like obviously, if you have the money, you're gonna avoid like having this here, but honestly for me it hasn't been that big of a problem, and still considering I can easily carry it like this is still not a big deal. One thing I don't hear many people talk about when it comes to these machines, you hear a lot of people talk about the resale value, which is an amazing thing. You can sell these for almost no drop in value at all, but I think the thing that a lot of people don't mention is I would really recommend getting a case for it, because after using it for a year I've gotten a lot of dents around here, I got scratches underneath, and just from that I was initially planning on selling it when there's a new model or something more coming out and I can just use the money for that. But since I've scratched it up quite a bit already, the value is dropping quite a bit, so I would highly recommend you spend a little bit extra, get a case on it. It's something you're not going to regret, and these are not necessarily cheap. Like they're cheap for Apple products and Macs, but they're still not cheap, so you should take better care of it than I've been able to do. But it's still fine as I'm holding it over concrete. So one thing I've noticed with the screen on this Mac is that it is a constant battle of having it clean. Yes, so it is a very like clear screen, and once you see it from the side you can kind of see it's very shiny and stuff because I just cleaned it. But you can be sure that at the end of today, not touching the screen or anything, there's gonna be a lot of stuff sticking onto the screen. So make sure that if you're traveling with this machine, because already the brightness of the screen is not really that good if you're working outside and stuff, so it's already gonna make it more difficult to see what is on the screen. And sometimes it's not that easy because a lot of places are well lit and everything, and you're not going to see the screen that well. But I think in general for the screen quality I haven't had any issues and everything. If you want to watch movies on it, it's not like it's a normal LCD screen, so it's not the best for blacks and everything, and yeah, and you generally don't want to use it at night anyway. So after this, do I think you should buy the M1 Macbook Air? Well, it depends. Is your laptop working right now? Because if you're in a state of continuously waiting for new things to coming out and you don't need a computer right now, then I would say wait a little bit later for this year, because there's the M2 MacBooks which is going to come out, and some people have been saying, there's been some rumors going around that these M1 computers are still going to be sold, and they're going to sell the M2 computers for a little bit higher. So I think what I generally say is like, don't wait for tech products. It's going to come, always going to come new stuff. Like if you really need it right now, the opportunity cost and the value you get from like waiting for that is really not worth it. So I think if you need a laptop, then definitely buy it. So I think with the M1 Air, it's such a great value. I would highly recommend you to buy the 16GB option, and then you can always buy an external SSD right next to it. Or if you do have the money, then you can spend on internal storage, but do be ready to pay the Apple tax for it. So as of that, I'm gonna wrap up with, yes, I would highly recommend buying the M1 Air. It's been an amazing computer, and it's still an amazing computer a year later. I just find myself looking at it and just loving the quality of it, how it's just handling everything I throw at it, even if it's just 8GB, it's a small version. But it's amazing that I can edit on this tiny machine that I have with me in my backpack. And as of that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.